Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to episode 17 of my 1.5 versus 6 Age of Wonders 3 playthrough series. In this series, I am playing against a team of 6 Emperor AI, although I did begin the game with an AI teammate set to Lord difficulty. In this series, I'm playing as the Goblin Rogue, Gnulsa Nightstar. In our last episode, we finally encountered the rest of our opponents. We had previously encountered Olarmian Robstone, the Dwarf Warlord, but we now know the identities of the rest of our opponents. And you can see here we have Edward Portsmouth, the Human Dreadnought. We have Uriana Asbandaria, the Nomad Sorcerer. We have Gnarlspin Lurker Slevin, the Goblin Archdruid. Grelka Greenclaw, the Orc Archdruid. And then we also have Reynald Quazarin, the Nomad Warlord. So we've certainly got our work cut out for us, and you can see here that we actually have kind of made contact with, this is the area that belongs to Reynald Quazarin, the Nomad Warlord. You can see here that we've actually encountered at least one of his cities. We don't know exactly, what he's got kind of guarding the city, but we know that this is at least part of where his area is. So I suspect that in the coming episodes, we're going to be going to war against all of our opponents, and I suspect things are going to get pretty messy. But before we dive into this episode, I did just want to give a couple of quick shout-outs. One primary shout-out here to an individual who left a comment on the previous episode. That individual is Gladden. Gladden left a comment just highlighting that nomads, which are the... I should kind of just back up here a little bit, but nomads are the race that was added by the Wasteland expansion. And this is, I believe, my first playthrough series where I've featured the Wasteland expansion. And we'll take a look at them real quick here. Let's see if I can bring up the diplomacy menu. And we'll take a look at Reynald here. So they are nomads. And let's see if I can... here it is. So if we look at nomads, what Gladden is pointing out, because I had mentioned in the previous episode that I was concerned that nomads are going to be doing a lot of extra fire damage, which unfortunately my Shadow Stalkers don't really have any inbuilt protection against. And that's true. However, Gladden pointed out that nomads actually have, you can see here, a 40% frost weakness. So they have an intrinsic weakness to frost, which actually is beneficial for me as my Shadow Stalkers and Undead are going to be able to hopefully take advantage of that. Something else that Gladden pointed out, though, is that I need to be careful in particular with this Nomad Warlord because Nomad Manticore Riders are going to have something called Fire Charge, which means that their charge attack will do 4 extra fire damage, which could be pretty devastating for me. So thank you to Gladden for pointing that out. All right, let's dive into the episode, and let's see what we can kind of get up to here, because like I said, I fully expect that we're going to be going to war in the coming turns. So, all right, we had left it last time. We had, I think, just kind of flipped the turnover, and we have a couple of... Yeah, so unfortunately, Edward completed the Imperial Residence Empire quest here. You can see he was the first to construct a Grand Palace, so he gets some extra casting points, and his city's a little bit happier. So, unfortunate that we weren't able to do it, but that's okay. We have some alliance proposals here. Let's take a look. So, oh, heck yeah. 217 gold, that's nothing. Let's do that. And this is the city that formerly belonged to Larissa. And unfortunately, after she was killed, it became independent. And this is one that I'm probably going to bring into the fold eventually. But for now, I'm happy to just have it as a vassal. We also have an alliance proposal here from Bash Granith. Only 232. I will happily accept that as well. So again, solidifying our grip on the Shadow Realm, which is very, very nice for us. And you can see here we're getting 48 income from this vassal, so I'm quite happy about that. That'll make up for it for the amount that I paid just in a handful of turns, so that's quite nice. Now, if we look at our other offers here, most of these are just... Actually, all of these are just join offers. So I think we're going to hold off on any joining at this point. Instead, I think we're going to jump back up to the surface and start working on our units that can move around here. We still had lots we could do. So our stack here of galleons could potentially go down and try raiding this sunken city. And maybe we could add in the succubus just to provide some extra assistance. Just trying to decide if that's what we want to do. You know what? We're going to head down that way anyway with the galleons, so let's at least go check it out. And let's see what we're up against. Ooh, we've got some Wraith units, a galleon that we're going to have to fight, a Banshee. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel very good about this one because these Wraiths are floating units, and I believe they have, yeah, they have 60% physical protection. Now, thankfully, we have our fire arrows attacks, which we could maybe use. But, yeah, I'm not feeling super great about that. So I think we're just going to ignore that battle. It's not worth taking the risk, to be perfectly honest. So let's head down instead, and we'll clear out these pesky baby Kraken here. You know, I mean, if we rolled the dice on that battle, we might be able to do it. But I just don't think it's worth taking that risk when we really don't need it at this point. So, okay, now let's see. Did they line up? They did. Oh, that's perfect for me. Okay. We're going to retreat back with our builder here. First things first, we might as well drop a nice repair. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll start blasting our cannon shots here. Just want to make sure we're out of range of the Kraken because we don't want to take any unnecessary damage. There's a nice shot. And then if we retreat back, let's see, if we go maybe over here, I think we can... Yeah, there we go. Just wanted to do some damage to that Kraken. And now we should be able to drop another repair here on our other galleon that's a little bit worse for wear. And then with our ships, we should be able to just move in and kill it with ram. Yeah, let's head down and do that. Fantastic. So there we are, able to clear out that structure. And some basic defensive gear here. We've got a torso, some torso armor, shield that's not particularly great, and some gold. I think we'll just sell this for gold. Kind of recoup some of our cost there. Oh, and look at this. We've got some additional wandering units here that we're going to need to kill. We've got a Frostling Succubus and a Draconian Scout, so presumably... Oh, yeah, there's a Pirate's Nest over here. We're probably going to clear that out on our way through. So next turn, we'll probably head down here and recoup our movement at this Shrine to the Fickle Mermaid, and then we'll maybe even get a chance to fight this unit, and then we'll head over here, clear out this Oyster Reef, and then go take on those pirates, hopefully. Now, as for our Succubus, rather than heading down to go in with our ships, we're going to continue to send our units north to try to get them into the fight kind of as soon as we can. I think they're going to kind of need it, so... recharged in 2 turns. Okay, I was just checking to see if our Shadowstalker could get a little bit of a boost on its way through, but we'll have to wait for that. We have Beneaths over here, and I was trying to decide what would be the best course of action for Beneaths. And of course, we have Volanara up here, who I think we're probably going to play somewhat aggressive with and kind of proceed in. So let's actually see with our scout here. Oh, okay, not well defended. Although, presumably... Yeah, so this is a High Elf city. Presumably, these units are going to be recalled to aid the defense of the city, so that's something we're going to have to watch out for. In the meantime, I suppose we could send Volanara up to try and cross into the water here, but I'm a little hesitant to start sending my units kind of whole hog without any backup. Yeah, that's kind of a tricky situation. Let's see here. In Beltheme, we're currently working on the Siege Workshop. Once we have this completed, we could start pumping out units, or alternatively, we could do a planar gate. We could even rush production of this just so we can start getting units out right on the front lines of battle if need be. That's certainly an option. However, before I commit to moving Volanara, I think instead I'm going to take Beneaths here and try to figure out what would be the best course of action. Now, with Beneaths, we could head underground and try to start dealing with Olarmian, but I actually think I would rather kind of concentrate my efforts in one area if possible. So I think what I'll do... I don't want to kind of divide my forces if I don't have to. So I think with Beneaths, as much as I would like to head down and start clearing out all these structures down here, I almost think it would be more beneficial to send Beneaths north and meet up and start trying to kill our Nomad Warlord opponent up here rather than dividing and trying to conquer. I just have to watch out because, of course, Olarmian might pop up out of this cave entrance at any moment, which would not bode well for me. I suppose I could head down here, you know, clear out this lost library at least, and then come back, but I don't know. A big part of me wants to just kind of send Beneaths north to meet up with Volinara and focus on the fight at this stage. That said, I could, I guess, head down. The Lost Library, I would like to clear that, as that's going to give me potential access to an additional spell or research upgrade. So, yeah, that wouldn't be so terrible. As much as I probably should send Beneaths right into the front lines now, I think I will do that just because it would be nice to try to get another spell here or research upgrade. So we are going to enter the Lost Library. Unfortunately, we don't have any means of conversion, so we're not going to be adding anyone to the stack. But that's all right. We'll just try and win the battle here, not take too much punishment, and we should be in good shape for moving forward. So let's do our Guardian Flame on the Eagle Rider. And then I think what we'll do is we'll send the Eagle Rider in to do some work right here, like this. Oh, that's fantastic. Huge damage there. We're going to actually send Beneaths up and try for some stun on the Reanimator here. Okay, had a pretty low chance of it working, so didn't really expect anything. And that's Draconian Elder, so yeah, we're fine. I expect we'll take a bit of damage, but thankfully nothing we can't handle. Very nice. And of course the Slither is just going to get regrowth, and or has regrowth, and is just going to recover from that damage, which is really nice. As for Beneaths here, I think what we'll do is we will just go after the Reanimator here. Nice, we got the stun. That's exactly what we were looking for. Our Slither can get around and do a nice backstab. Oof, devastating kill there. Meanwhile, our Forge Priest can actually step up and try and get a little bit of additional experience here. So we'll do some damage to the Reanimator and then move in and get the kill. Perfect. So a nice... Ooh, and we got Nightwish. Let's see, what is this? The domain of target city owned by the caster is shrouded in darkness and becomes unexplored for other empires. All enemy units suffer a -1 vision range penalty within the enchanted city's domain. This spell doesn't affect vassal cities. So that is kind of nice. We cleared out yet another one of our, you know, upgrades or spells that would kind of take, you know, 1 or 2 turns for us to do. We actually have really good knowledge income, as you can see, 400 per turn, so I'm really looking forward to having Dark Pact finished. Once that's done, we'll start knocking off all the ones that are kind of, you know, 1-turn events. Meaning, like, things we can do in a single turn. We have another upgrade here for Beneaths, a level up. Projectile Reflection is a pretty nasty upgrade, but I think we will actually go with Men Magical Being and Floating here. So I think we'll start with Floating, and the reason for that is because very shortly Beneaths is going to be getting some Shadow Stalkers, although that might not be for a little while, so maybe we'll hold off and do this next time, and instead we'll just do some extra casting points here. Yeah, you know what, let's do the casting points. I kind of convinced myself there. We'll do the casting points. Ooh, and we actually have Inflict Spirit Breaking as well, which is devastating. Especially if you have a unit that can do conversions, because it has a chance to do -2 resistance, which is devastating. But yeah, let's do the sorcery upgrade. Now we have enough casting points when the turn flips over to do at least 2 spells here of the ones we currently have. So I think that will do. Again, the reason I'm waiting on floating is because it's going to be a little while before we have a doom stack of, you know, purely floating units with Beneaths there. So I think in the interim we can hold off on that. And I fully expect Beneaths to get additional combat experience, so I'm not worried about Beneaths gaining enough experience to level up. Let's jump underground and check out what Gnulsa was up to. Okay, so we were able to actually recruit this Nightshade Fairy as a reward, and we also have this Draconian Reanimator. So now what we're going to do with Gnulsa, if I remember correctly, I was trying to kind of decide which way to go, and I think I want to head up towards this town, maybe. Either that, or I could go, I guess, like, kind of this direction. Which, you know, that might not be so bad. It would head me straight towards Olarmian. You know what? Maybe that's actually the better course of action. I had originally planned, I think, to kind of go this way. But since I want to get into the fight with Olarmian, and this stack is now quite powerful, I think that would actually make more sense. So here's an option. We could go and grab the haste berries and just kind of ignore this little fight. And you know what? I think that's kind of a decent option. So let's do that. We want to maximize our movement here. So we'll grab the haste berries. We will clear out this lost library and hopefully get an additional spell or something. And there's another opportunity for us to grab another undead unit, if possible. These reanimators are nice to have because they can heal undead. So if we have, you know, additional stacks of ghouls or whatever, now that we have Inflict Ghoul Curse, it would be nice to be able to maintain them. Alright, we have to decide who do we want to try to debuff so we can have better odds of acquiring them as a unit. Importantly here, we have both Charm and Control Undead, so we could do, well, one or both if we really want. So we'll just do a Nourishing Meal buff, and then what we'll also do is a Touched by Faith on the Ogres, just to beef them up a little bit. And then we want our Blight Doctor up and involved so we can get a nice weaken going. Meanwhile, our Big Beetle can charge in as well. Alright, we're going to allow them to kind of hit us here. Let's see what happens. Okay, nothing we can't handle, just some kind of flesh wound damage. Alright, very nice. And what's great, too, is that they've now used up their... a Tigran. Okay, we're probably going to want to avoid trying to do the Tigran because it does have Spirit Protection. The other one is a... Oh, they're both Tigran. Well, that's kind of annoying. Alright, well, we don't really have a choice. So what we'll do is we'll throw a Weaken on the Reanimator, I think. And then... And I don't think Frozen Flames does anything... Okay, yeah. Frozen Flames doesn't impart any extra resistance or anything like that, so we're fine there. But we can send Gnulsa in and go for the... I mean, again, we have a 45% chance, which isn't terrible, but it's not great at the same time. Oh, and we were successful. That's perfect. Okay. So now we want to get in there and try and just kind of put the hurt on these remaining units. So we'll move in and attack the Apprentice for some big damage. We can actually step our Apprentice up as well. Let's go right here. And we want to Firebomb and hit kind of the remaining enemies. Yeah, that's really nice. So we'll do this. We got the kill on the one that was already hurt. And then we can kill off the Reanimator, hopefully, or at least do some big damage here. Okay, not quite the kill, but we did some hefty damage. And now our Reanimator can actually put some punishment on one of the units. And I think we'll just kill the other Reanimator. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Fantastic. So there we go. We got ourselves another Reanimator. Ooh, and Bolster. Your units do not suffer from morale penalties until the end of combat, and some extra knowledge income, which really doesn't matter. All right. So that's pretty nice to have. So yeah, we'll head up this direction. Importantly here, because we have the Big Beetle, we can tunnel right through walls if need be. So that's really nice. The village of Yargan would like to open borders in a peace treaty. I will happily accept. And when they want to become a vassal, I will be more than happy to accept them as well. And then this little stack, I have to decide what to do with my undead units. So I have a few options. I could either send them back up to the surface through this tunnel and then try to get them to kind of, you know, eventually make their way up into the battle here or over to the Shadow Realm to join in with Nero and his group, because that's where the majority of my undead are. Alternatively, I could just kind of keep them moving along behind Gnulsa, which I think is actually more likely to be what I'm going to do. So we'll do that. We'll move this stack over. And again, they can kind of hang out together and follow Gnulsa. And hopefully we'll find a way to kind of get them more involved. I think that would be really good. You know, maybe we can find another tunnel or something, or alternatively, perhaps we can find another way to get to the Shadow Realm, although we'll have to get back to the surface to do that. Okay, so that takes care of Gnulsa. I think we've already done Nero. Let's just double check that. Yeah, so Nero's already done his thing. And our Wyvern stack, plus this extra little cadaver, they're heading up to try to reclaim this Shadow Elf. Unfortunately, our Shadow Elf city was captured by some pesky Shadow Demons, so we need to try and reclaim it. Let's jump around and do a little bit of our production. So, Beb Jun, we produced a Siege Workshop last turn with them, so now we could do a Rogue's Palace. That would be kind of nice to start getting us some more powerful units. This little guy, I eventually want to get back to the city to defend against these roaming units, and eventually I want to try and kill off that Necromantic Circle. So obviously that's quite problematic for me. So I think we're going to just kind of head this way. Oh, and there's another spawning structure down there. Yikes. Okay, so let's do the Rogue's Palace. That's going to allow us to produce better units out of that city eventually. Lilac up here. Okay, so we've got ourselves another Shadow Stalker that we've produced. Again, these ones are just going to all be heading sort of north here to join into the fight. And then Lilac, we're just going to continue pumping out Shadow Stalkers because we can. So, and I think same story for Edinburgh here. We've got another Shadow Stalker that we've produced, so we'll try and take full advantage of that. With this stack here, I believe I was heading north to try to... Originally, this group was going to head underground, but I've kind of changed my mind on that. So maybe we'll head to this island and start clearing it out in preparation for a settlement. This would actually be a good spot for goblins, as we've got, you can see here, quite a lot of wetlands and kind of muck. That's what the goblins like. So, you know what? I think we will do that. We'll send this stack over, get them on land over here. And they're pretty powerful with the two Shadow Stalkers, so I'm not too concerned about them. Meanwhile, this one, I would like to send to kind of get into the fight a little bit more. We'll just double check. So underground over here, I believe we have Zhang doing... Yeah, we have Zhang. And Zhang's in really good shape and now has some additional units to kind of assist. We have a Cadaver as well. So I don't think Zhang's going to need a ton of reinforcement at this stage. You can see here we've got some very powerful units. Not to mention we're about to be producing another Wraith King at Ancina Res. So let's jump back to the surface real quick before I move Zhang. The reason I was trying to decide that is because I was pondering where to send this Shadow Stalker. So, yeah, this Shadow Stalker is going to head north. And try to kind of join in with the fight going on over here eventually. That's going to be the game plan there. And then as for production in Edinburgh, we're just going to keep pounding the Shadow Stalkers. Now, Kenton, this is our human city that we, again, was the former throne city of Larissa. You can see here that it's actually a fairly well-developed city. Just looking around to see what's kind of in the area. So, in terms of what we want to add to it, we could also sell this if we need some extra gold. Because that's obviously not going to benefit us. I mean, we can produce some decent Tier 2 human units already, or we could develop it further and try to produce some very powerful units if we really wanted. Alternatively, we could use the city just for resource generation. There's There's nothing really in the immediate vicinity that we need to add in terms of, like, expanding our domain to try to get access to. So I'm not going to worry about the observatory. All of chivalry would give us human knights, which could be useful. This is another city we could make a harbor at and produce boats. Although, quite frankly, the boats coming out of here wouldn't be as powerful as the boats coming out of... well, I guess the only city that's really going to have really strong boats is the one that we've purpose-built for that, which is Ding. And as you can see here in Ding, we're working on the Flowrock Citadel. So, let's jump back up. You know, I actually don't mind that idea of using Kenton as another boat-producing city. So maybe we'll do a harbor and produce some galleons here. Wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Although it might be nice to have at least one city guard. Although we have a stone wall on the city, so we might need a couple of guards, actually, if we're gonna do that. Pretty good production in the city, as we do have the Magma Forge, so... Let's see. Maybe we'll do... an archer. We want at least something to guard the city. Over to Issel. Now, Issel is now capable of making Shadow Stalkers, although they will take 4 turns, which is a little annoying, but that's still really encouraging. So I think we'll actually start doing that, even though that's going to use up pretty much all our gold. We might be able to recoup a little bit of it here with some battles. So let's see if we can do that right here with this Pirate's Nest. Actually, before we engage that battle, let's just use a galleon to do it. There we go. Now, we will have to be careful because, obviously, these units have pretty extreme mobility, so we ideally don't want to take a ton of punishment. I think the flyer is probably our most important unit that needs to die. I mean, the scout is... Whoops. The scout is not really a huge concern. The Lizardman Trident Warrior is a tier 1 unit that, again, not a huge concern. So, yeah, I think we'll go after the Draconian. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll blast the Draconian flyer here. There's some big damage. And then we'll do the same over here. And we can go for one more shot over here. We just have to make sure that we're not obstructed by these. I think we'll be fine if we go over here. Ooh, we are obstructed. Okay, what if we go like this? There we go, that's fine. Perfect. And then our Naga Guardian here can actually guard our galleon. Ooh, ouch. Don't like taking that extra damage there from those scouts. But thankfully, we can just get the kill with our ram attack. Excellent. And now, between the two of us, we should be able to get the kill. So we'll swim around behind, do the ram, and then get a nice flank shot with the Naga Guardian. Excellent. Let's see if we get anything for that. We got a shield and Old Cuirass of the Lizard Man. +1 resistance and armored scales. Unit is immune to armor piercing and has +1 defense. That's actually pretty decent chest gear for a hero. Particularly if I had an armored hero like a warlord, but I don't. So, I mean, again, it'd be really good if I had an armored hero, but I don't have any armored heroes as far as I'm aware. So I think I'm going to just sell this. That'll recoup some of my cost as well, which is great. Now, I actually really want the Naga to join in with this army up here, and then we could start doing work, but I think I'll have to just maybe wait for the Shadow Stalker, and then I can start clearing things out with this group. Because the problem here is this little stack. I'm going to need to kill them off. I mean, I might be able to entice them into attacking me if I... You know what? Maybe if I just park my galleons right here, maybe they'll come after me. Let's see. Okay, now our support stack over here. We've got a roaming unit that needs to be dealt with. And we've also got our little stack over here that was doing some additional scouting for us. Ooh, and they've run into some lizard men. We've got a lizard man shaman, lizard man circle thrower, and lizard man trident warrior. So you can see here that because there's multiple lizard men in the stack, they have more health. So that trident warrior in the other battle had, I think, like 40-something, and this one has 60-something. And that's because of the lizard man bond, which you can see right here, ×3. So, again, the more lizard men you have in a stack together, the stronger they are. They have higher morale and more health. So it's kind of an interesting mechanic where you want to have pure stacks of the one unit, or the one race, I guess. Now this stack, I think we will sort of just head north. I don't really want to deal with those roaming units right now. We'll just kind of keep exploring. Volinara. Okay, so now here's the big question. What do we do with Volinara? I'm tempted to head up here and start trying to see if we can get into the fight. I'm a little concerned because our stack really isn't that strong. And this is where, again, I was trying to decide what to do with Beneaths. And I think we're going to turn Beneaths around and head straight this way as well. So let's see if we can make that happen. So we can actually head into the water if we go over here. Maybe a not a direct approach would be good, where we could send Volinara over this way, have her land over here, and maybe clear out some structures, get a bit stronger, and then move in for the kill. Or to start fighting, at least. So yeah, let's do that. We'll at least get in the water right there. As for our scout in the Shadow Realm, we found ourselves yet another spawning structure, which we'll have to try to deal with. Okay, and we've got... Ooh, and look at this. We actually have a Shadow Gate. Oh, and I walked myself right into a stack of undead. That's kind of a shame. Oh, but look at this. Open Borders Peace Treaty and a vassal proposal. I'm happy to accept. So there we go. Yet another vassal in the Shadow Realm. Unfortunately, this scout is pretty much doomed. But, you know, that scout did their job, and at least we got ourselves another vassal. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. Gnulsa... Oh, Gnulsa can actually still move, so... Now, this is a good situation where we could start clearing out a few of these structures, so let's do that. And then, as I said, with Gnulsa, we're going to head kind of straight up this road here and try to connect in and see if we can kind of sneak up on Alarmian a little bit. Now, let's deal with Zhang over here. So Zhang is rapidly gaining strength, level 5, so we are going to head down this way. And here's a great opportunity to get some additional casting points, which we could really use. Ooh, and then look at this opportunity. It's too bad I'm not at level 7 yet, because then I could get myself another Wraith King potentially out of that battle. Alright, so we'll move down here. We'll clear this structure out. We'll actually use our highest movement unit to do it. Save a little bit of movement. Alright, so these wisps are in need of a killing here, that's for sure. So we'll do some work, get the kill there. Very good. Our Revenant Caster can step up and do pretty much the same thing. Excellent. Meanwhile, Zhang can step up and do some big damage as well. Very nice with the critical. And a kill there. There we go. Big boost to our casting points. 71. And now we're actually able to summon this Earth Elemental, which is fantastic. So I think what I'm going to do with the Earth Elemental is summon it here with Volinara just to provide some assistance. And we want to summon it in the domain of this city so that it gains the benefit. So we'll summon it right next to Volinara. And there we go. It should have Meditate. Yeah, there it is. So, fantastic. Now we have this Earth Elemental to kind of assist Volinara a little bit. Because, again, Volinara's stack really isn't all that powerful. Might want to replace the Long Swordsman here with the Earth Elemental, so that's quite useful. I suppose something I could have done is actually summon the Earth Elemental, like, right out over here, and tried to go in and maybe even kill off the the enemy leader here, but I don't know if we'd have been able to do that, so we'll play it safe. As for this Shadow Stalker, we're going to continue heading this way. Alright, now, what do we want to do with Zhang? So we can go and clear this out, which is probably the wise choice. So I think that's what we will do. Now, we'll have to be careful here, because obviously our undead are going to be a little bit, you know, they're sort of going to cancel each other out, because undead generally don't do a lot of damage to other undead. So, let's see. Yeah, we can do some pretty hefty damage with our cavalry there. Our Nightshade Fairy needs to be a little careful, as we do have that Blight weakness, so I think we will retreat the Nightshade Fairy back and throw up our Cadaver just as a bit of a guard. Meanwhile, our cavalry can kind of step in here and do some work, so let's do that. Again, remember, if any of our undead go down, we can at least revive our tier 2 or tier 1 units with lesser reanimate undead, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Do a little bit of damage there. And we'll step up with our Wraith King, put some hurt on there, very good. Meanwhile, our Nightshade Fairy and our Cadaver can just chill out. And as for Zhang, I think Zhang we will kind of retreat back as well. We don't really want to get into the mess too much. Okay, our cavalry are getting kind of swarmed, which is fine. Again, we should be able to help them out here. Do some flank damage there, very nice. I mean, if they do go down, that's totally fine. We'll be able to revive them. Let's try and get the kill here. Excellent. Should be able to kill the carrion bird over here as well. Excellent. And then with Zhang, what we'll do is we'll step up and just do a little bit to the Wraith King there. We don't want to get too close. So what I'm expecting now is the Wraith King will kill the cavalry, and then I can swoop in and do a revive. Oh, okay. That's fine. They went for my Cadaver. So what we'll do instead here is we will move our caster up, drop a nice big juicy heal on our cavalry. Excellent. And then what we'll do is we will, I think, use our hero basically just to... Yeah, we're going to be fine. So what we'll do is we'll step up and heal our Cadaver. And then we'll blast these Wraith Kings for some huge damage and the kill. Very nice. Alright, fantastic. Dirty Blowpipe, which would give us Mosquito Darts, which isn't bad. And then the Coat of the Elephant Hunter. I'm actually going to take this reward, and I'll equip the coat with Zhang. That's kind of nice to have, just the extra defense and resistance. And then the Blowpipe gives Zhang some extra ranged options, and importantly, no line of sight penalties and no long range damage penalty with Mosquito Darts. So quite nice there. All right, excellent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check out our other scout here. So what do we want to do with this little Grimbeak Crow? Maybe what we'll do is we'll head over this way and see if we can... Oh, and look at that. Okay, we've got another city over here. So... You know what? If we stay in the water, we might actually be a little safer. So that's what we'll do with the scout. And then this Shadow Stalker. This one I'll probably add in with Beneaths, so maybe we just go this way. Very nice. Now we can start casting another spell here. Could start summoning another Earth Elemental. Could also improve the happiness of a city with Iron Grip. Not be such a bad idea. I think maybe here would actually cheerful. This is a city that could use some spiritual freedom, I suppose. So maybe we'll do that. Very nice. And I think that's going to about do it for our turn, so we will end it right there. So now the big question is, what's going to happen? So with Edward Portsmouth, whose turn it is right now, I have to watch out for his flame tanks, because obviously they're going to be able to do a big AoE flame shot onto my Shadow Stalkers if I'm not careful. And Shadow Stalkers, of course, do not have any fire protection, so that's going to be one thing they're susceptible to. Uriana is a sorcerer, which means we'll probably end up fighting Eldritch Horrors eventually, so that's going to be, you know, pretty tough. I don't think we have any shock protection with Shadow Stalkers either. Yeah, no, so that's another thing we'll have to be kind of cognizant of, is the Eldritch Horror situation. Okay, Edward tried to disjunct Poison Mastery, so yeah, that's going to definitely start happening more and more now, as we're going to get hit with all these disjunction attempts, because we're up against literally 6 opponents. And I'm sure they're all going to try to do that to me. Okay, Olarmian is going next. Oh, and look at this. Yep, there's what I was kind of worried about. Alarmian's popping up with units, so Beniefs is going to have to get involved here. And sadly, this Vassal is not really well defended. It just has a single unit there, that Human Apprentice, so... You know what, if we just throw our 2 Shadow Stalkers together, we might even be able to handle this battle. But... yeah, so it looks like we'll have to keep Beniefs down here to deal with this situation. Fighting with Olarmian. Okay, so Poison Mastery was disjuncted by Olarmian after Edward tried and failed, so we'll probably redirect Spiritual Freedom to recasting Poison Mastery, because that's a nice one to have. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try to kind of focus on one of them at a time to try to eliminate them from the game. The worst thing I could do probably would be to divide my forces across all these different, you know, battlefronts and end up in a situation where I'm too divided and I can't muster any sufficient strength in any one battlefield or any one battlefront. And that's what I'm concerned about. And of course, you know, this is going to be tricky because I have a fairly wide-spanning empire here, although a lot of it is vassal cities, so I'm really quite clustered in this kind of tightly packed area down here in sort of the, I guess you would say, the southern, central, and a little bit eastern portion of the map. And then underground, it's mostly vassals. Shadow Realm, it's mostly vassals. Although I do have a pretty good grip on the Shadow Realm, as you can see here if I jump back. I've talked about this before, with the little blip here being that we lost our Shadow Elf city, but hopefully we're going to get that back quite shortly. Yeah, and there's our Grimbeak Crows getting obliterated. These roaming units might even take our vassal from us, which would be a shame. We're going to just do auto combat here, because our scout has no hope of surviving that one. Oh no, okay, so our units here are under attack. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have a chance to win this one, so I'm going to just let them, yeah, unfortunately be killed. I maybe could have taken command and used some spells or something, but those units really didn't mean a whole lot to me, so... I mean, I don't like losing units like that, but... Alright, so yeah, we have to recast Poison Mastery, so we're going to switch our spell casting to Poison Mastery, and then cast that. We want that back up and running. Very nice. We've gotten better at governing humans, which is good. Human cavalry earn extra experience, or harbors in human cities generate additional population and gold, and we were thinking about building that one harbor in that one human city, so I actually think I'm going to do this. I mean, the cavalry earning extra experience is very nice, but we're probably not going to be producing a ton of human cavalry at this stage, so I think we'll do the harbor upgrade, because we are going to do that harbor upgrade in the one city anyway. Now, we've gotten better at governing dwarves as well. Let's see. all dwarf, axemen, and deep guard gain +2 melee strength, or all gold mines located in the domains of dwarven cities generate additional gold. I think we'll do this one because, yet again, we're not going to be producing axemen and deep guards, so... All right, domain invasion at Skorold. That's, of course, what we're dealing with right here. And of course, they're sitting right on our doorstep of our city there. Bebjun, we've also had domain invasion, although that was probably just the units kind of moving through my area, as they often do. Now, this might be a situation where I actually want to send this little guy up to try to get back to the city, although he might get killed on his way back. An item has arrived. All right, ooh, our boots, our Ashlandic Wastelander Greaves. They've arrived for Beneaths, so that's huge. Now Beneaths has fire protection at 100%, and that's because, of course, we've got... well, we still have the Wicked Flames of Grouth upgrade, apparently. We also have Ashlandic Wastelander Greaves and Red Raptor. So I'm actually not sure why we still have the Wicked Flames of Grouth. I assumed that that would have gone away after our first battle, but hey, maybe not. Might just be a glitch or a bug, but in any case, we have 100%, which is really good. So we're immune to fire damage, so if we do end up fighting a Dreadnought or anything like that, Beneaths will be in good shape to be able to deal with that situation. Now, if we group up our Shadowstalkers, I'm really curious to know if we'd be able to actually win this battle. I mean, I think we'd have some tough... it'd be a tough one for us, but maybe what I'll do is I'll park the Shadowstalkers like this. Beneaths is hopefully going to be able to deal with this. It's the pikemen are going to be tough because, of course, we have two very powerful cavalry units who are going to be weak to that. But with Beneaths being able to throw on the stunning, I think would be okay. So what we'll do is we'll leave our Shadowstalkers here to protect our city, and we'll group them up with Beneaths next turn if we're able to. This little unit here, you know what? It'd be nice to grab this this gold, or just keep exploring. I'll have to decide. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Let's jump back up here. So yeah, he's solidifying his defenses as he should. That makes sense. Now with Volanara here, we can go make landfall, but let's do a little bit of scouting perhaps with our elemental. Okay, so there are some structures we can clear out kind of on our way through. So we'll head over like this. There we are. And you know what? We'll even move this unit out of the stack, move the Earth Elemental into the stack just to get the benefit of any of the upgrades from Volanara there. Okay, let's see if we have any alliance proposals. Doesn't look like it. It's mostly just, yeah, it's all joint offers. Although Areen Dar did grow into a village, which is kind of nice. So they've gotten a little bit bigger. Okay, nice. We've produced that Wraith King. Let's do another Revenant Caster just to have some extra healing capability. We can send this unit down to join with Zhang here. Very nice that we actually found another tomb as well. So if Zhang can gain a little bit of additional experience, that would be a good option to try and clear out. It looks like here we've got a pathway back to the surface, which is, of course, going to bring us to our human city of Edinburgh. So if we need to get Zhang up into the fight on the surface, that would be a way to do so. Looks like perhaps, yeah, Sphinx Temple, so that's something we could try and clear. I think we're probably strong enough to handle that without a ton of issue. I mean, it won't be easy because obviously there's usually a lot of fire damage coming out of those, but I think we'd be able to handle it. So maybe now what we'll do is we'll actually build a bit of a stack here with Ancina Res, where we'll take our Wraith King. We could add in the caster and maybe one more unit, and then send that stack north to start doing work up here or something like that. Alternatively, we could send them up to the surface here to try to sort of get involved. So we've got options. I'll think about that. Okay, we're working on our dragon dwelling, of course. We're still trying to upgrade it. I think maybe we'll go with the Burrow of Storms, because that's going to give us access to the Storm Wyvern and Storm Dragon eventually. Now, hang on. Let's think about what we're up against and what would give us the most benefit. Shock is kind of nice because most things don't have a lot of resistance to it, with the exception of some of the Sorcerer's units. The Dwarven units don't. A lot of Druid units don't really. Warlord units don't really. Dreadnought units are often susceptible to it. So I think we'll actually do Burrow of Storms just so that we get the benefit there. The other option is we go for the Burrow of Gold, and we get the gold dragons, which are, I believe, dedicated to good. Although, if we throw... We're eventually going to be throwing on the upgrade on this city, Spiritual Freedom, so no matter what we produce, it's going to be dedicated to good. So yeah, let's do a Burrow of Storm. Plus, it'll be nice to get to see those in action. All right, over to Ding now. Ding, again, we're working on our... We're going to do a harbor here. So let's do that. We want boats. Mboku. More Shadow Stalkers. Although, you know, Mboku might be worth making another settler. Because, again, we need settlers. We want to settle a city over here. Ooh, unfortunately, there's some nasty roaming units right there. We want to settle a city there, and eventually we also want to settle a city over here. So maybe we do a settler. Well, we're kind of able to. Yeah, you know what? I don't hate that idea. So let's do a goblin set. Actually, yeah, you know what? We'll do the settler. I was gonna say might be cheaper to do it in a human city because I think we have that empire upgrade, or excuse me, racial governance upgrade to make that cheaper. But we do. But I want a goblin city up there, so. Where do we send this Shadow Stalker? That's the next question. I seem to recall underground being a bit of an issue with some roaming units down there. A couple of Shadow Stalkers should be able to clear that out no problem, but I have a feeling we're going to need them on the front lines of battle rather than grouping some up to go that way. We'll send this one up to... Although that said, we could create a little Shadow Stalker group and head underground and start just kind of clearing things out underneath us. At the very least, getting rid of this spawning structure so we're a little bit safer. The only concern is just having two of them together might not be enough. What the heck. We'll at least group them up so that as they're traveling, they're not as vulnerable. Meanwhile, over here across the water, we'll just keep trucking northwards. Here we go. Succubus can do the exact same thing. Very good. All right, let's jump to the Shadow Realm. I actually really want to see what Nero can kind of get up to here. So, yeah, we're going to head over and clear out this structure, which has been causing us some real grief. We can also go raid this tomb, and on our way through here, we might as well attack these pesky Archons now that we're super strong here. This will be a good chance to start getting our Shock Serpent some experience. So let's do that. All right, so our Cadaver can just charge in and tank some damage. Our Pony Rider's kind of in rough shape, so maybe we'll throw a heal on the Pony Rider here. Shock Serpent can kind of go right up the gut as well. And we'll use our Deathbringer to kind of flank around the side along with our Banshee over here too. Alright, so we'll get our Cadaver on the wall, and again, hopefully that's going to entice some attacks there. Pony Rider can move in and again just kind of draw some heat. I'm not too concerned about my units going down because I have two ways to revive them. This one, Greater Reanimate Undead, will work on any tier 3 or 4 as well. So this one only works on tier 2 units. So I don't have to be, you know, super careful, but I also don't want to take, you know, absurd levels of risk or anything like that. The Banshee can kind of head over this way. So I'm expecting a lot of damage being done to the Shock Serpent. Yep, there it is. Okay, cadavers were killed. That's totally fine. Nice level up there for the Shock Serpent. Finish up and get the kill as well. And then what we'll do with the Deathbringer here is we will actually step up, Shadow Step in behind, and try for a Ghoul Curse. Only 20%, but hey, it's worth a shot. Okay, didn't work. Maybe what we should have done is tried to use the Banshee to get some Despair in there, but you know what we can do is we can step right in like this, and then turn ourselves that way. And then we'll do a Despair. Nice, we got it on that group at least. So now what we'll do is we'll step over here, and we'll, you know what, we might as well throw our chicken at the Paladin. There we go. Yeah, I should have used that Despair attempt on the Paladin to maybe give me better odds. In the end, I don't think it's really going to matter, but... Alright, so now our Deathbringer, we want to try and come over here and see if we can, again, take advantage of that. We'll actually probably get our Shock Serpent out of the danger zone because we've taken a fair bit of damage, so... let's charge the gate with our cavalry there. Meanwhile, Nero can actually head over here and grab himself another cadaver. And our Banshee can almost get the kill. Let's see, 3, so 7, 11. So yeah, it's not going to get the kill. You know what we'll do is we'll hang out in defense. And if this unit goes down, it's okay. We'll move over and revive it. Okay, very nice. They survived. No real problem there. And then what we can do, unfortunately, like I said, we've already used our heal, so we're not going to be able to do that. Nobody needs to be revived, however. So what we'll do instead is we'll come over and try for the Ghoul Curse here. Do a War Cry. Okay, immune. These Archon units have very strong spirit protection, so I'm not really too surprised. And there's some big damage, and a nice level up for Nero. Ooh, that is nice. So now that Nero is at level 11... Oh, and look at this. A Red Raptor, fire protection, inflict bleeding wounds, and a fairly decent melee weapon. I think all of my heroes already have pretty decent mounts. I think I'm going to sell this. I mean, the fire protection wouldn't be bad for Nero as an undead, because he's currently got a mount that's giving him frost protection, which he doesn't really need. But I kind of the gold would be nice, so I'm going to sell this. Yeah, let's take a look. That maybe that would have been a better choice. Yeah, you know what? Might have been a better choice for him rather than this bleak warg. Although we aren't immune to the frost damage, so I'm not too miserable about having this actually. All right. Yeah, we'll just keep heading down this direction here. Group up, and of course we want to get in there and fight this stack. Healing is a little bit of an issue for this stack because all we have to heal is Nero, so got to watch out for that cadaver. We can't let it get too low. But so now that we are at level 11, we should be able to get Undying. There it is. That's the big upgrade I was after. Siphon Life would actually be a decent spell to get so we can do some healing as well. That wouldn't be so bad. But let's grab Undying. So now we basically have 2 lives with Nero. We can get killed once. The only problem is if we do get killed with Nero and then use Undying, all of our one-time use per battle abilities go on cooldown. So, for example, our Heal Undead or our Greater and Lesser Reanimate Undead, they become unavailable. So that's just an important thing to remember when you have a hero that has Undying, is if you were planning to use one of the abilities after they've come back from the dead, you're going to be in trouble. So just an important thing to remember. So that's really great. I'm very happy that that's working out. And now with this stack, again, we're just going to kind of head up the road here. And we can go fight these pesky shadow demons. I'm going to keep the cadaver along for the ride as long as possible, although it is withering every turn, so... Kenton, let's see. So yeah, this is where, again, I was thinking about doing a harbor. And now that the harbor is going to improve our income a little bit as well, I think that's actually a really, really good choice. So that's what we'll do. Now, who else needs to move? Benice is done. I think Gnulsa needs to move, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. So Gnulsa can do some work. Ooh, and we actually have to watch out. These roaming units are actually going to pose quite a threat to our units right here. So let's see what Gnulsa can do if we... We're going to clear out as many of these structures as we can on our way through, just to try to kind of gain maximum benefit. All right, here's a good chance to maybe recruit another undead. Yeah, little bits of damage, nothing we can't handle. And importantly here, they've kind of left themselves open for... The Orc Reanimator would probably be the easiest one to try to convert because of the lower innate resistance of the Orcs. You can see there 11 versus 10. So the Orc Reanimator is probably the one I'm going to try. Although I don't know if it's really going to make much of a difference. So here's what we'll do. We'll step up with our Apprentice. Firebomb everybody. Very good. Charge in and like this and kill the Apprentice. And then... Oh yeah, we can't hit the Reanimator with any light damage, that's right. Do some work there. And we'll do some work there. And then we can charge in with our cavalry and attack the Apprentice. Get the kill. And then that'll about do it. Okay, so now what we want to do is throw a weaken. And we might as well take a little bit of advantage of our healing capability here. Sure, we'll heal the ogre. And then we'll send Gnulsa over to try for a control undead. Oh, 63% chance, and unfortunately it didn't work. So now we can just move in and get the finish here. We'll do it with the ogre. Perfect. Let's see what we get. Cunning Escape. Let's see. Shrouds target friendly unit in shadows to conceal it from enemy troops, allowing the unit to instantly leave combat. Can only be used by the attacking player. Okay, well. I mean, it's nice to just kind of chip away at all of those little one-turn spells. That's quite helpful. So now what we'll do is we'll clear out this quarry, I think, and just kind of keep moving. So with this stack, we might actually have to, rather than... Ooh, you know what? We can go and make contact over here. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll head this way. I was going to say, rather than try to support Gnulsa, we've got these roaming units that are going to cause us problems. So we'll head down here and make contact with some more Draconians. And look at that. Instant vassal. Perfect. Suppose we can do a little exploring with this group. Although, again, it would be nice to get them into the fight somehow. Ooh, and a spawning structure down there. So I think we'll head back like this. All right, now this crow. Might as well just keep kind of exploring here. Let's see what this is. Oh, wow. Okay, we found the throne of Reynald. All right, perfect. So we know where to concentrate our efforts now. Ooh, the nomads look really cool, and I quite like the way their cities look. That's very, it's very neat. It's kind of a Tigran-esque, but different enough that it's kind of distinct. And yeah, these nomad units look cool. I like the gear they have on. So when they have throw spear, wow, that does a lot of damage. Yikes. Okay, so we know where to concentrate our efforts, though. That's for sure. Alright, we'll keep our scout right there. Now, we have our galleon over here that unfortunately didn't really come under attack from those roaming units. So what we'll do is we'll send this unit northwards here. Try to join in with the stack up there. Oh, I forgot they're right there. I didn't even see them. Well, this unit's going to probably be killed. That's a shame. Suppose what I could do is send one unit over to maybe try to give them a fighting chance, like maybe the Stormbow. You know what I'll do? I'll do this. And that way we at least have a fighting chance if we end up in battle. Yeah, there we go. All right. Gnulsa has a level up to do, so that's good. We can... Oh, unit cannot be flanked by attacks from behind. That's kind of powerful. But since we're not really using Gnulsa super aggressively, I think I'd rather just do something like inflict severely poisoned or inflict crippling wounds. Might be a little better. Yeah, we're going to do inflict severely poisoned here. Alright, so yeah, we'll keep moving with Gnulsa. We'll clear out this quarry. Ooh, okay, they don't want to fight us, so we'll actually let them run. Ooh, and look at that, a Sun Shield plus foot wrappings of power plus some gold. Sun Shield's obviously very, very strong, so we're going to take this as that's a very, very good. Foot wrappings I'm less excited about. I don't really want the fire weakness, so we're going to sell the foot wrappings. But as for this shield, you know what? We'll just give this to Gnulsa. That's a straight upgrade for her. Yeah. And then I think we can just sell this one off. Alright, so now what to do? It would be great to go clear that out on our way through and then keep heading north. Or I guess kind of northeast, where we're sort of going. So, yeah, we'll head that way. What else? Shadowstalker over here was heading northwards. Keep that going. Let's check out what our other units are doing. This stack, all right, what do we do? I think we'll just keep exploring. Oh, and look at this. Okay. We've got some territory. Ooh, and it's not well defended. Is this a vassal? It is a vassal. All right, perfect. We can go in and attack it. This is a vassal that belongs to Reynald, so there's a good chance to try and grab a hold of it. Yeah, that's kind of exciting. I think, you know what, this is a good place to end the episode, so we will call it right here. We still got a little bit left to do this turn, but that's kind of exciting. So we know where Reynald's throne is, and we can start kind of concentrating our forces to try to take advantage of that. So we're going to save this one right here as episode 17. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.